Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. The Scottish Government is to face legal action after controversial plans to appoint a state guardian to every child under the age of 18 were voted through this week. The Christian Institute has announced it intends to launch a judicial review against the Children and Young People Scotland Bill, saying it contravenes human rights laws on family life. Under the new legislation, the NHS would appoint a health worker to be the named person for every child up to age 5, after which responsibility passes to local councils with teachers likely to take over the role. They would then be able to share information with a wide range of public authorities and could intervene without parental consent if they perceive a risk to the child's well-being. But the Christian Institute's Colin Hart says the plans are illegal and could cut across the rights of parents.
We have no option but to challenge this illegal law all the way. This is a dreadful extension of the state's tentacles into family life. It's clear that the bill breaches European rules through its attack on the family. This is big brother politics writ large. Ordinary Scots should be very concerned indeed.
Scottish Conservative Liz Smith also criticised the move, saying it tips the balance away from parents.
Well, I simply don't accept that all children between 0 and 18 either need or want a named person. I just don't think that's acceptable. I think that tips the balance in favour of the state when it comes to family responsibility rather than in favour of the parents.
The judicial review is set to be launched in the next few weeks. Staying in Scotland, and church leaders will continue to have a voice on local authority education committees after the Scottish Government rejected a secularist bid to end the practice. The Edinburgh Secular Society had challenged the existing committee structure, which currently requires the appointment of 3 representatives from religious organisations. Reverend David Robertson, who is also director of the Solar Centre for Public Christianity, reacted to the news saying, "We are delighted that the Scottish Government has refused to bow to the secularist agenda. We hope to continue to have a major input into Scotland's education system for the sake of Scotland's children." New guidance from the Church of England has reaffirmed its traditional stance on marriage and confirmed that it will not allow clergy to enter a same-sex marriage when it becomes legally possible next month. It follows a letter from the Archbishops of Canterbury and York, which said, "We are all in agreement that the Christian understanding and doctrine of marriage as a lifelong union between one man and one woman remains unchanged." The guidance added that for clergy, getting married to someone of the same sex would clearly be at variance with the teaching of the Church of England, and ministers need to model the Church's teaching in their lives. The House of Bishops has also launched wider discussions on the controversial Pilling Report, which recommended marking homosexual relationships in special church services. They say their discussions will include profound reflection on the meaning, interpretation and application of Scripture, and will involve particular attention to the lived experience of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgendered people. Meanwhile, the Roman Catholic Bishop of Shrewsbury has warned that traditional marriage vows will be made meaningless if prenuptial agreements become legally enforceable. The Right Reverend Mark Davies said prenups encourage people to prepare for divorce before they are even married. His comments come as the Law Commission, the official body which considers reform of laws, is set to recommend making prenups legally enforceable in England and Wales. Bishop Davies said, "Our society would be proposing to couples seeking marriage that they prepare their own divorce settlement before making the lifelong promises. It is a legal provision which would surely empty the words of the marriage promise." The leader of disability charity Scope has been voicing his concern after Belgium's decision last week to widen the scope of euthanasia laws in the country to include terminally ill children. Richard Hawke says disabled people in the UK will be looking nervously at the decision amid calls for assisted suicide in Britain. Mr. Hawke said, "There are lots of ordinary people, not least disabled people, who are really worried at the way we seem to be edging towards a change in the law. Right now, there are loud, well-organised and influential calls to legalise assisted suicide for terminally ill adults." Politicians in Westminster and Holyrood are to debate 2 separate bills on the issue later this year. Lord Faulkner and independent MSP Margot MacDonald are both pushing for a change in the law to legalise assisted suicide. And students have been allowed to reinstate a pro-life display at a university in Alabama after it was dubbed offensive. The display, featuring pictures, posters and statistics on abortion, had been removed by the university following complaints over the content, despite it not breaking official rules. BAMA Students for Life, who put up the display, complained to the university, saying other displays had not received the same treatment and that their constitutional freedom was being violated. The university has now apologised to the group for taking down the display. Matt Sharp from the religious liberty organisation Alliance Defending Freedom, who supported the pro-life group, said, "Censorship is inconsistent with the marketplace of ideas that a public university is supposed to be. We commend the university for its quick response." Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.